Welcome, everyone. Here it is, a Wednesday. Are you ready for Hollywood on the Rocks? I'm kind of not ready, actually. I just got off the Nerdrotic Nooner. I had a slice of cold pizza, and now we're talking. And I'm ill prepared for today. And I'm Alan-less. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's get to our show intro. Let's get things started. A lot of you in the chat, thank you for joining us here on a Wednesday. Maybe it's an afternoon for you, wherever you are. It's happy hour at some point around the world. So thank you for joining us. Let's get things kicked off. Here we go. It's Hollywood on the Rocks. I'm not even quite centered. What am I doing? Hey, hope you're doing well on your Wednesday afternoon. I'm doing great. I think I'm just waking up. I'm still just waking up, but I was able to see episode 6 of Kenobi, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I watched it twice last night when it first dropped at midnight Pacific time. Again, makes no sense to drop it at a time like that. I mean, you could drop it anytime. Anytime. You're a streaming service. Why 3 a.m. on the East Coast? Doesn't make any sense. But I watched it last night, watch it this morning. Of course, you saw me on the Nerdrotic Nooner talking to Gary and Quarterblack Garrett about the show. I have some expanded thoughts, and I want to talk to you about it. So thank you for joining me today. Want to get our business out of the way real quick. Alan is not here. Alan is not here today, and it's very possible that we may need to find someone. We may need to find someone to take Alan in Alan's place. I've been reading your comments. A lot of people are not real happy with Alan now. So maybe it's time to try out some new folks, give some new folks a chance. There was a guy early on when we first started our YouTube channel named T. Anthony Shear, who kind of helped us launch our YouTube channel back in 2018. Is it time to bring him back? And let me just show you for a minute. Let me just remind you who this person is. You've seen him in this.
These movie reviews are delicious.
Could he be a replacement for Alan? Maybe we get like someone who's a Gen Z to join me here, being a Gen Xer. Will this be the combination of Z and X? I don't know. Let's get to know T. Anthony Shear. Could he be? Is it possible that he might be a bit pretentious? Who knows? He originally did some videos for our channel, and let me show you one of the other videos he did here, just to see. And you know what? Be honest in the chat. You know, if Alan can't be in the show because he's gallivanting around, he's going to events. If Alan can't make it, is someone else better that could join us? And could it be T. Anthony? Here's some he sent me this sample here.
Hello, and welcome to Film Threats The Week in Reviews. I'm Theo Shear, your host, and I'll be telling you about all the reviews we've had this week. First up, we've got Shifting Gears. Quote, "The best thing I can say about Shifting Gears is that it's an incredibly mediocre and unoriginal film." Alan Ng gives it a 3 out of 5, and safe to say you can skip that one. Next, we've got What We Started, an impressively comprehensive history of EDM, given a 7 out of 10 by Bradley Gibson. So if you're into EDM, probably worth watching. Sadie, as patchy as it is, Sadie has its exhilarating moments, bursts of clarity emanating from an intriguing premise and captivating central performance. Given a B- by Natalie Winkleman. If the new man meat in the trailer zone excites you, this one's for you. Sightings uses the gimmicky style of a Z-grade monster movie to illuminate what makes or breaks a family. Given an A by Bobby Lapire. So if you like gimmicky monster movies about family issues, that one is for you, I guess.
What do you guys think in the chat here? What are we thinking about T. Anthony? I vote for Cecil. Wait, we got some comments here. Dempsey says they need to retcon Leia. No, we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to those. I'm just thinking like right now, are we? Let's see. A Maggot says G4 hired Alan. Zach says, listen, Chris, you need a diversity hire. I'll pretend to be black. Think about it. All right. Well, we'll consider it. And let's see. Sparta 300 says, hail to my fellow born with one kidney nerdster. Wait, you also were born with one kidney? There you go. And Alan is in the chat. You're in the chat. Alan, why aren't you on the show? You're going off, you're doing things, you're invited to this. You don't invite me also? You go to, what was it? You went to some big event with Universal and you didn't also invite, this sounds like something fun that this guy I work with, Chris Gore, might want to also go to. Alan goes to all these events and I only hear about them after he goes. So maybe what you want to do, Alan, if we are a team, you want to invite me to some of the things you're invited to. How often am I forwarding you like screeners and invites, making sure that, we're getting everything covered on the site? Alan, I feel very hurt and disappointed. T. Anthony Shear, it looks like, is a huge hit. All right, wait a second. How about Chrissy Mayer? That's a good suggestion. I love that. Musaphonic recordings. Ronan Blade says that Star Wars girl would be great. Bethel Games you need more Polish. Maybe we need more Polish. I don't know. Alan, if you're still in the chat, I know you're on the road. Alan is doing a great thing right now with his daughter. He can talk about it on Friday, but he is a really great father. Come to know Alan personally. And so there's a very good reason why he's not here today, but that's not going to stop us from doing the show. And before, I actually do have a guest lined up to join us. But before we do that, let's get business out of the way here. Let's get some business out of the way here. Please support us and buy something. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. You can pick up the shirt like I'm wearing right now. It's an Empire Strikes Back logo inspired shirt. Nothing to do with Star Wars. Pick yourself up a mug. They hold any liquid, hot or cold. And as I always am fond of saying, our t-shirts cure nudity on contact. Remember, when you're watching Hollywood on the Rocks, take a shot when someone talks about movies. You might not do that today because we're talking about a streaming show. So there you go. And if you want to contact us, I'm easy to reach. Alan's easy to reach. Just go to filmthreat.com/contact. And I love to give away free stuff. I just love it. I personally love it. So what do I want to give you? What do I want to give you? Free things. I'm going to give you this free Film Threat bumper sticker if you just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Film Threat, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California, 90036. Pop that in the mail. I'll send you back a sticker. I'll send you back. If you put enough postage and send a big enough envelope, I'll send you some DVDs. I'll send you free stuff. Remember, get your questions in the chat because we're gonna jump right into it. Subscribe to our email newsletter. I'm getting them all out of the way because I don't want to talk about it later. Go to filmthreat.com/newsletter because you'll get notifications, which I don't know if you get your notifications. Hit that bell for notifications. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. All this stuff. This is all the stuff this is the stuff that people were telling me, look, if you want to grow your channel on YouTube, I got to do all this stuff. Also, we are Film Threat on everything. So let's get right to it. I don't think it's a surprise to say we're just going right into spoilers. We're just going to assume that you have seen the show. And I have a lot to discuss. And I have someone here who's going to help me in lieu of Alan not being here. And that is Paulie from the Latino Slant, a channel you need to know about. He'll be joining us shortly. He's muted, but he's going to join us shortly.
Hey,
Hey, Paulie, you're wearing the correct merch. There you go. Look, I'm the guy. Look, I'm sitting here talking about, but like this right here, this is an R2D2 cooler for beverages. I take this when I go to conventions. I take it with me and throw it in the room, and you can just fill it. It's top to bottom with beverages. I bought that from the official Star Wars fan club probably 20 years ago.
Nice.
So, and look at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's we're over there over my shoulder. There is episode 1, my original poster.
There you go.
I've had that thing this came out in '99.
Nice. Well, we've got
and there's Qui-Gon there.
There's Qui-Gon. Oh, well, we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. But let's real quick. There's over 300 people right now watching us live.
Cool.
Please slap that like button. Slap it. Give it a big, big, big slap.
Oh, wow.
Please do that. Please do that. Yep. And the more you slap it, you might get to see things like this.
Finish him.
Oh, my jeans. So, yeah, the more people we get in here, the more I'll show some of these goofy videos. But that's actually not why we're here. We're here to talk about the season finale of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this is going to be an interesting conversation because I think that you and I are not on the same page when it comes to this. I've watched some of your videos, Paulie, and I've
watched all of your videos.
Oh, you have? Okay. Well, I've watched some of your videos. I haven't watched them all.
Well, quick spoiler. Luke Skywalker lives.
Yeah. Well, this is what, look, let's talk about you can't just watch this show blind. Even though if there's things that you like about it, you're going to find things that are just going to be incredibly frustrating, right? Like I'm sure that you have, I would say episode 4 might be the worst episode of an original Disney Plus series. I just think that particular episode was pretty bad. But this is the season finale. My prediction is it will not be the end. I think we're going to see we may or may not see a season 2 of Kenobi. What we're going to see is the continuing adventures of young Leia. You're going to see continuing adventures of Reva. They've now introduced her character into the Star Wars universe, and I don't think she's going away. I think you're going to see her pop up and stuff.
Is that what this show is supposed to be called?
It's supposed to be called The Adventures of Young Leia. That's why that popped up there.
Oh, it's very clever of you, Chris.
We're going to take breaks and get to your chat questions and comments soon. But I thought that this was just my overall impressions before we start to get specific, that I thought this was a disappointment. I feel like it shows a profound lack of attention to detail by the producers and in particular the director, Deborah Chow. And I'll go into what some of my issues are with her directing. Clearly, I believe that she's a competent director. And the term that one would use, which is probably a sexist term now, is called journeyman. It's a director that you give them a script and I'll do what you just told me. Nothing necessarily original, no flair or personality, or nothing that would necessarily, when you see certain directors and you go, well, that's a Robert Rodriguez movie. You don't even know who directed it, but you can tell.
As soon as you said journeyman, I thought Rodriguez.
Yeah. Well, no, I think Rodriguez is better than that, or at least in his lower budget days. But there's something
I meant how they brought him in when he did that one Mandalorian episode. He really wasn't part of their nucleus of creative directors. He was like a journeyman on that. He came in last minute.
Right.
It was probably his best episode.
Yeah, the journeyman will get it done on time, on budget, and everybody will be happy, and you'll get your martini shot before the sun goes down. But I was here's I'm conflicted by a couple things. There are a couple things in this particular episode that I actually quite enjoyed.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe we'll start with that because it's a shorter list. When in the lightsaber,
it's your channel, Chris.
Okay. In the lightsaber duel at the end, which I thought was ridiculous, it just went over the top with rocks. And a lot of people are going to complain about the rocks. Rocks for some reason, rocks seem to play a big part in Jedi training and now combat. Rocks have been used in Luke's Jedi training in The Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah, right? Like in episode 2, Yoda used like there was some rock stuff in his fight with Count Dooku. Rey at the end of The Last Jedi kind of elevates all these rocks and kind of, frees a space in the end of the cave, the other end of the cave, where those little ice creatures were getting out. So, it's not unprecedented that rocks have been used. It's just incredibly ridiculous. And then the way that the camera shook, and by the way, the way that the camera shook during that lightsaber duel at the end between Vader and Kenobi, we've just rushed right to the end. We've just rushed right to the end. I'm not going to go chronologically with the story. I'm going to tell you the things that shaking effect, that's an effect that you can do in After Effects. That's like a post effect. And I feel like what they did was, and somebody commented to me as I was on the Nooner, like a lot of the post-production looked amateurish. Let me share. I want to share screen right here to something that was sent to me by, I hope I can say his name, Vic Vegas. May not be his real name, but Vic Vegas sent me this thing. This is a comparison of a Star Destroyer and the top is Obi-Wan. Look how ugly and muddy and dark that looks, right? And look at the laser bolts. And then look at, that is from the original Star Wars Episode 4. They can't even get the lasers right. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't get that right. The thing, okay, let me get to the one thing I liked when Darth Vader was exposed and you heard sort of half Vader, half Anakin talking. I kind of liked that.
Yeah, half Hayden, half James Earl Jones.
Right.
Seemingly within one line of dialogue. Yeah.
Exactly. Like that was like, oh, that's great. More of that. To me, the best parts of that final lightsaber duel weren't the parts where they were dueling. It was the parts where they were talking, because it was filled with some drama, some pathos. And it still didn't really pay off, in my opinion. It didn't pay off in the sense that there was some sort of resolution. Does Obi-Wan have any guilt about, like, he was fooled and he's not the only reason, but one of the reason that the galaxy has spiraled into authoritarianism? Like, he's kind of shares some blame for that. And I feel like he's not accountable, right? Just because he saved one girl, right? Which I feel like a lot of the stuff just canon-wise just doesn't match up for me, which is annoying. But these are my overall.
This is your positive list?
This is my positive list is like one thing. And then there's something, and thank you. Shout out to Flaccid Phoenix, who's in the chat, starring your comments, producing on the show. Flaccid Phoenix is there. Subscribe to his channel. He dug up. I was complaining about, there's a shot. It looks so cheap. I'm just going to show it to you. It's just a few seconds. And it is, where did that shot go? Did I upload it to the wrong? I may have uploaded it to the wrong thing. No, here it is. It's a video. Okay, so it's 6 seconds. I'm just going to show you.
Okay.
Oh, well, wait. Here, the show starts with this. This is why I don't believe that Disney Plus as a streaming service, I don't believe they're going to survive, is because stuff like that. This is, the entire channel is being geared towards children. You got trigger warnings on, look, it's Star Wars. They have lightsabers, arms will be chopped off. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So that, for one, but the cheapness, not just of the post-production, but of the production itself. Let me just, okay. So there's the ship that is escaping from the Star Destroyer, right? Obi-Wan's on the ship. Leia's on the ship. Crushed. Everyone calls him Crushed Ice.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah, they're all on the ship. Ships. They're trying to get away. They're being blasted at. I don't know why they don't send out TIE fighters. Why are they not sending out TIE fighters? What's the deal? Don't get it. But so in the ship, as the ship,
they're on a budget.
Yeah, as the ship is going like this, there are literally against the wall chairs from IKEA. I am not making this up. And like Leia gets out of a chair and Obi-Wan.
How many times have you seen this? Because I
watched it twice.
I've seen it twice. I didn't. That your attention to those details is incredible, Chris.
Look, I've directed films. I'm detail oriented.
Hey.
I'm anal retentive about stuff. I'm working on a film now, and fonts are bothering me. Okay, I'm very detail oriented with this stuff.
I love it.
Don't get into a font conversation with me, Paulie.
Hey! I'm just the Mexican help today. That's all I'm doing.
Hey, and I'm sorry, we launched right in with this show. I'm so guilty because I was like 2-3 minutes late. I'm usually never late, but Paulie, it's always good just to hang out with you. We always have a good time talking movies and stuff. And I don't care if you vehemently disagree with me. I want to hear your thoughts. But let me just show you this thing with the chair. There's no way to show. If I showed you a still, you'd go, well, that's just a chair. When you see it, it like wobbles when you get out of the chair. That's how loose it is. And like I've even got here in my room where I got a couple lights. You can put sandbags down. This is like a staple on a film set. You have like a sandbag, usually like 10 pounds. You throw it on something, it doesn't shake. You throw a couple sandbags down on a light, no one's going to knock it over if they bump into it, right? You could throw a sandbag on a prop. So let me just, it's a 6-second video, and thank you to Flaccid Phoenix for clipping this. Look, this is going to be like the Zapruder film. The worst one, I don't know if Flaccid Phoenix is able to do. The worst one is when Leia gets up out of the chair like wobbles. We need to see, look, this is really important to me. And by the way, like George Lucas is just as anal retentive. If you know anything about the making of the original trilogy of Star Wars, this guy is super anal. That's why I love.
Well, and he had an excuse. It was called a budget in the 70s. And even then,
even then, that stuff just holds up.
It drove him crazy.
Let's watch this video again. It's going to be like the Zapruder film. I need you to see this. And people in the chat, tell me about this. Where can I buy this chair online? Can I get it at Wayfair? Official Obi-Wan Kenobi chair from that shapeless ship that they're. What is that ship even shaped like? The design of the original ships in the show are freaking lazy. They look like this is here. I got this little. I stopped using this mic because I didn't like the sound. It's this Tula mic. This is what the ship looked like. That's the ship. Is this little microphone that I have?
That was the ship. Was that the actual prop they used?
No, it's not. That's a. See, it's the same shape as what I'm telling you.
Or
it's the same shape as that ship that was trying to escape from the Death Star.
They asked me to work on the show as well, and I came up.
Oh, really? Yeah, that would be a good ship. It's supposed to be. George Lucas said he made that ship shaped like a hamburger because he loves delicious hamburgers. Another reason to.
This is the Taco Bell one.
Is that the Taco Bell one? Oh my God, I love it. Did you get that during like when? Like,
dude, I have 2 big sets. I'll give you a couple.
Okay. All right.
I went to a I can save the story for later.
I'll save the story for later, but let's look at this chair thing again. And please, I really want your opinion. Am I off base on this? The chair seems cheap. Here's the problem. The chair is not secured to the, so if you're like, have you ever seen those videos of cruise ships like during a storm, and you see the cruise ships during the storm, and the cruise ship will go like this, and all the chairs go like that, and then it goes like this, and then the chairs go. It just like it's like one of those, like if they're being chased by a Star Destroyer and they've got all these chairs, wouldn't they just be flopping all over the place because they're not secured? It just looks so. It looks like he was in a waiting room to see the doctor.
Okay, now
here we go. There's your Star Wars. You look like you're in a waiting room. I mean, look, the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel looks better than that.
Now that you mention it, Chris.
See? Now that I mentioned
in that series of shots where he's standing there telling everyone, hey, I got to do this. I think I did see an overhead luggage container shake as well.
Go watch it again. I'm telling you. But it's that lack of attention to detail. Now, we're going to go through it in more detail. I want to get your impressions before we launch in and we're going to do we're going to do more of a breakdown than what we just did with the chair. Flaccid Phoenix, shout out to Flaccid Phoenix's channel for that. But okay, so What are your thoughts? You've watched all 6 episodes now, and you could say, look, I will even be forgiving. I'll say, look, every series, you're going to have some weak episodes because you're saving budget for other episodes, right? You're going to go, okay, we really want this finale or this particular episode to have something important. Like, how does this, and I don't think this should have been a series. I think it should have been a movie. And I think it should have really sort of.
It's going to be a movie. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, I think that you could edit together if you cut out all the dumb stuff and all the subplots and side characters that are very not particularly memorable. I think this would make almost a good. When I say good, I mean C-, like a nearly watchable. But I just feel like that lack of attention to detail is what gets me. Are there enough moments to pull together 2 hours? I don't know. But Paulie, what is your impression of the final episode?
Final episode, I absolutely loved it.
What?
I was very entertained.
Okay, it was great having Paulie on. I'm kidding. All right. Yeah. Okay.
With everything that you said, right? I don't disagree as far as like the, I've stopped paying, as far as like the level of, special effects, the cheapness here, the cheapness that. I'm like, is the story compelling enough for me? Am I having a good time? Am I being entertained? And I have to say the last 2 episodes, absolutely.
I'm not. First of all, it's I got to turn my air conditioning on. Hopefully you won't hear the sound. But I have to say I've seen stuff like that. I know what you're talking about. Like if you're so caught up in something and you're really loving something, it's like you can look over details. I mean, look, you're also talking to somebody who I love trauma movies, right? Like trauma movies, but I know what I'm getting into. The bar is, well, it's lower than my desk for a trauma movie. So but I know with the trauma movie, I'm going to be entertained. There's probably going to be some bare naked ladies at some point. There might be a toxic Avenger. It's going to be ridiculous and over the top. Someone's going to get their arm ripped off. There's going to be just like a ridiculous over the top accidents and gunplay and car crashes and explosions. I love trauma movies for what they are. This is Star Wars. My expectations are much higher. And the fact that I'm sitting here and it's not like much of what I'm saying, not necessarily original. A lot of people have pointed out some of the flaws that I've already pointed out, and we'll get to more of those flaws. By the way, 600 people watching. Thank you so much.
How many?
Slap that like button. 600 people. So thank you for that.
That's great. Awesome.
Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, get those likes up more, guys. Come on.
It'll help get this.
It helps Chris. It helps
the live stream. Helps the live stream get recommended. But I got to say, like, my expectations are higher in the fact that I'm able to point out some of these things. Look, if I'm on set, not good enough. Send that back. This has to be more dynamic. Let's have a ship that you can recognize. Like, look, a 5-year-old can draw a picture of a TIE fighter. Okay. Children can draw pictures of X-Wings. They're crude, whatever, but it's because the shapes are so simple. Right? Those ships have become iconic and they become recognizable. Draw the ships from Obi-Wan. Draw any of the original ships or vehicles. And I would say even for this Star Wars sequel trilogy, there are almost nothing. I mean, the freaking Boba Fett ship, which is called Slave One, by the way. Boba Fett's ship is shaped like an iron. Every kid, when you finally saw Boba Fett's ship, you took an iron and you're like, dude, it's like an iron. Like, it's like these weird, George Lucas just had this mind for like, let's take some of the most bizarre, iconic shapes. Let's turn them into recognizable. I love that. I love how his creative brain worked. But I want to hear your argument for why you enjoyed it. And in particular, tell me about episode 6. While I'm just going to turn on my air conditioning real quick. Give me a sec.
Is it hot?
Yeah.
Episode 6. I wrote a few notes down after I seen it twice, and I got some. We could talk later on about this idea of the film. I heard that they're going to do a film version for it, or they're going to release it. Freedom from the Past from Obi-Wan and Reva. in showing mercy, which is probably why Obi-Wan didn't kill Vader. He never could kill Anakin, and he just never could. I obviously I loved the Qui-Gon moment at the end. That was incredible. I love what you said as far as the the duality of Darth and Anakin. That was incredible. His absolute aggressive, just obsession with Kenobi. And then for the Emperor to like put him in check. That was really cool. What else? Reva, boy.
Reva's look.
If people didn't like me in the chat right now, they're gonna even hate me more, but that's all right. That's okay. I love this character. Now, Reva, I'm talking about.
Well, let's just read real quick a quick comment. Hank VP says Paulie cashing those Disney checks. So we'll just
I mean, listen, Zach said avert your eyes, so I'm not going to read. I saw one or two comments that weren't too friendly. I'm just having a good time.
What do you like about the Reva character? Like, I feel like she's not because I
her revenge, her whole thing was to avenge them, like her brothers and sisters, as far as the other Jedis that were all killed. And that was a great driving force. It's a great character. It reminded me of what could have been with Finn. We were all kind of promises like, oh, this stormtrooper to become a Jedi. This was very interesting to me. And she said, I failed. I let them all down. And Kenobi's like, you didn't. You showed mercy. Like, we can discuss whether her tactics were smart or not, which they weren't. I get that in episode 4, but I thought some of her best acting was in episode 1 and 5 and 6. Okay, I want to save that moment for later. The uncle. I thought that the parents on both sides, the adoptive parents on both sides, were great. Uncle Owen and Beru, I love that. I wanted more of them. That's what I enjoy. That's what I was entertained.
So what you're saying is that your standards have been lowered, so the bar's been lowered so much by Disney that you just enjoyed it, which you're perfectly fine.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Chris.
I'm saying that.
Chris. You're saying that, Chris.
I'm saying that.
Don't turn on me like your chat's doing.
Oh, the chat is not loving you right now. I'm
not even paying attention. I love you guys in the chat. I'm just not reading every.
Check out.
If I did, channel. Then I'm like, maybe I should change my.
No, don't change your. Like, don't change your opinion. It's fine. I mean, look, this show has gotten mixed reviews. It's gotten mixed reviews. And by the way, check out Paulie's channel at Latino Slant.
Oh yeah, they're gonna run and subscribe now.
They're gonna run. They're gonna run.
Listen, yeah.
Oh wait. Alan Ng, who might be co-hosting the show with me on Friday. He might. I don't know. We have T. Anthony Shear. We've got Paulie. Alan, we have options now. So Ingtopia says the series does not strive for excellence. There you go. That's what he says. I got to get to these super chats because
you got a lot of great super chats. Yeah.
So let's get to super chats real quick, and then we'll get back to comments and conversation real quick. JS Pena says for $1.99 says late and grooming. There you go. Well, they always like Art. Isn't it like Nick Rekieta who says that Jedis are groomers because it's like he's too old. Yoda's like he's too old. Talking about Anakin. Saint Cimmerian for $9.99. Thank you for that. Hey, Chris, thanks for all of your work. Also, thank you for your recommendation of RRR. Now, that's something, Paulie. You and I can agree on that. RRR. Thank you for your recommendation of RRR. I'm obsessed, having seen it 4 times already.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm recommending it to everyone I know. Keep up the awesome work.
Try to see it in the theater.
Try to see it in the theater. Recommend it to Gary from Nerdrotic.
Let's have a drink. He still hasn't seen it?
I literally been trying to get him to see the movie for 2 months.
Listen, that's another stream. Why our homies won't go and see this?
Here we go.
Won't go see Triple R. That's another stream.
Exactly. El Corporal Waffles for $1.99. Thanks for recommending RRR. Totally loved it.
We have to keep drinking every time they mention it.
Yes. And then Inktopia with another comment here. Why did Obi-Wan give Luke a lightsaber but only gave Leia a pistol holster? Yeah, that is kind of weird. She does. I mean, doesn't she uses a pistol at the very beginning of episode 4? Yep. So that might make sense. I don't know. Flaccid Phoenix says, "Don't talk about Leia's teeth, Chris. Too late. Too late."
So mean.
It is mean.
Ay, Dios.
It is mean.
Ay, Dios.
And then said no one ever.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever. Oh, I get it.
Come on, you gotta get some. Listen, with me, you got your ghetto pass. So
this is why I appreciate it. Hey, what's wrong with IKEA chairs, lol? No, IKEA chairs are fine. Not in a Star Wars movie. I don't want. This is the problem I have, and I don't want anything that reminds me of like where I am.
You said that before, right?
I want to go somewhere else. I want to feel like I'm on another planet, not like I'm in a waiting room or waiting to get those delicious Swedish meatballs at IKEA. Yeah. Teal 89, aka dislikes puns. Nice. Yeah, I love puns. For $5, thank you. Talking about the cheapness. I honestly thought the music was pulled from stockmusic.net or something lazy. Hi, Paulie.
Hey.
Adventure Industries.
I like the music.
I like that they brought back themes I recognize. That was the one of the positives I can think of. It's Anakin's face being revealed under the helmet. That conversation, that was amazing. I feel like that could have been if Anakin had turned sooner in the prequels. Let's say he turned in episode 2 and was Vader in episode 3.
Yeah,
that would have been amazing. It would have better connected those two.
Well, we could talk about the whole series later on. Yeah,
well, for sure. We can do that. Adventure Industries. Those chairs will be sold in Disneyland by the end of the week.
Don't put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vader. Yeah, and everyone's pointing out because I didn't know. I didn't watch Rebels, so please, Alan Cheatley says Vader fight was ripped from Rebels cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, but I think that was a little homage to the Obi-Wan. Also, too, I saw the Obi-Wan Darth Maul, fight there. With the way Obi-Wan was doing his stances, I thought that was cool. But what do I know?
Well, you're talking about from the Clone Wars or from some other? Yeah, I mean, he kind of repeated some moves, and that makes sense.
I think when he kills Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, is it in Rebels? Someone help me out here. But the move that he did in that, he did that here when he fought Vader. I thought that was cool as shit. Yeah, Rebels. Yeah, he puts his saber up like this, and he's like, Yeah, okay. I mean, look, you're gonna have some stuff that's cool. I mean, look, it's cool, but can I say this is gonna be vile? What I'm about to say. What I'm about to say is going to offend a few people. So let me just say it in the nicest way possible. And this is how I described after I saw episode 1. This was and I feel like this review, what I'm about to tell you, could be applied to the Kenobi series. Episode 1, when I saw it, I thought I was in two minds about it, right? Mm-hmm. On the one hand, you're seeing this incredibly cool stuff like Darth Maul, double-sided lightsaber, Jedi battle, a Jedi lightsaber duel like we've never seen before. You're seeing kind of cool new ships, the Trade Federation and robots too. I thought the droid decas were cool, like other worlds, like the underwater world of Naboo and the Gungans. There are some just incredible visual moments out of the brain of Lucas, right? There's amazing stuff. And there's also horrible stuff, like the way that Jar Jar talks. He sounds like Barney the dinosaur. He steps in poop. I've come to actually like Jar Jar now. I feel like Jar Jar's biggest problem is screen time. He has too much.
He should have been relegated to a side character like C-3PO. C-3PO, effectively a gay butler. But, like if C-3PO had so much screen time, he'd be annoying, right? And so I think the problem with Jar Jar is that. So you've got like amazing stuff and awful stuff. So for me, seeing episode 1, and I would apply this to Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's like having sex for the first time. And you're like, this is awesome. Oh my God, I've never had sex. I'm having sex for the first time. It's awesome. But your mom is watching. So it's simultaneously the most amazing experience and the most horrible experience all at the same time. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you at all? Paulie, what do you think about my review?
That's a pretty you're talking about Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace was arguably bad.
And we just lost 100 people watching live.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. They somehow only a few people left, but that's okay.
No, it's popping up almost to 700.
There you go. Jorge Barracuda for $5 says, only way to enjoy the show is to consider it Legends, because I did want to watch Obi versus Darth. Same. The real canon, in my opinion, is the extended universe. Hail Chris Gore. Hail back to you, Jorge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jorge.
Daniel for $10 says, travel back in time and make the 12-year-old me watch Disney Star Wars and RRR. I would never have asked Santa for all those Star Wars toys. I would want Raju and Beam toys.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, they're a huge hit. They're a huge hit. RRR. Yeah. Let's see. JD for $10 says, on first viewing, I was confused who the Death Star ultimately went after because my eyes didn't discern a difference between Obi's ship and the refugees. Completely agree. There's not identifiable by shape, right? Not identifiable by shape. Yeah, another comment here from Aki Yamoto for 20 pounds. You should amplify your stream more. Can't even find the link from the Nooner. This is gold. Keep it up. I don't know. We lost some people here. I think that my comment might have triggered some people. Someone says kick Paulie. I'm not going to kick Paulie. I'm not going to. I want to hear
kick
why
Paulie. What the heck?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But I'm just
like kick him out. Oh, or like
No, I'm not going to kick you. Masters of the Nerddom for $5 says Paulie missed the massive chair issue. How can he say the show is any good? I think actually Masters of the Nerddom is making fun of me with that comment. That's okay. $2.
I honestly did not see the chair. I was looking at the the intent of the actors and the storytelling. But when you show it to me a couple times like you did, I'm like, oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah. 200-watt studio for $2 says Reva cut townspeople's hands off. Terrible character. Yeah, didn't make a lot of sense. JD for $10 says, what I really liked about the Reva character was her mysterious ability to instantaneously self-heal and teleport across the galaxy so long as it is off screen. I know you're being sarcastic, and that's something that bothered me the whole show. Like, you have two people that receive lightsabers to the chest and live. Like, did you not check that they were dead? Did you not
No one did.
No one did. Like,
everyone just walked away. Everyone walked away. Everyone.
It made no sense. The Inquisitor comes back. I'm okay. The Inquisitor, you know what's great? The Inquisitor I thought was great. You know why? Very short screen time. He had that like British Imperial accent that's menacing. I thought that character and actor did a very good job, and he wasn't really in the show that much.
Rupert Friend.
Really good, yeah. Jake Damone for $1.99. I've never seen CGI ships move so unnaturally. I do think the post-production on this was cheap. See, it's muddy. So much was dark. Whenever you see like anything that's really dark, that is to cover up for shoddy CGI.
Well, actually, I saw it on my new screen here, and it looks fantastic. So it wasn't dark. And then I saw it on my TV in for the second time with Romy.
Right.
We saw episode 1 and 6 right before the show because I wanted to refresh. So I went 1, jumped to 6, and I have a theory now. But that monitor in my living room is a dark monitor. So I was like, "Ooh, this is really dark."
Yeah, Douglas A. Burton for 20. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
The show lacks functionality throughout. Entire confrontations lacked tactical sense, and lethal stab wounds are not addressed. I agree. Like, they could have explained it like my species, I've got 2 hearts or whatever. You can explain that away.
It was lazy in the explanation. There was an explanation,
Precisely.
but it was very quick and lazy from the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
and it needed to be addressed. You're absolutely right. Especially
did Reeve ever address it?
No, the Grand Inquisitor, when he comes back, he says like one line: "Your will for revenge, because like kept you alive or something." Like
right. Yeah,
and that's way too lazy. It's also way too it's not specific.
Yeah. Let me complete Douglas A. Burton's comment here. Cheap visual effects and boring score should never be associated with Star Wars, and now they are. It's true. The score was forgettable. The score was fill in space with just general music. It was only in the final episode that they actually used Leia's theme, Vader's theme, and I think the Force theme, which some people associate with Luke or Luke's theme, but I think it's the Force theme. So there were 3 distinctly Star Wars themes that were used
at the end.
At the wrap-ups at the end only. It should have been used throughout the show. Douglas A. Burton, thank you for that.
Well, the argument that you're going to get people to... I'm sorry. Go.
No, I'm just going through the super chats.
Yep.
Rec Films Montana for $5 says, when revisiting characters in my own films, I try to be true to what I established. Unlike Kenobi, not that I am perfect. Oh, well, Rec Films. You got to see your films then. As someone who pays attention to detail, or maybe you should be directing some Disney Plus shows. Tatsu Sama for 2 CHF. Yo, Chris and Paulie.
Hey.
Thank you, Tatsu Sama. That's great. Thank you for that. Makadama for $5 says, I see those chairs Kenobi sat in laundromats here in Los Angeles. That's true. They just seemed... They didn't feel Star Wars to me. Patrick Lemire says, I love the Paulie. See, you're getting love in the chat here. Paid and Bang, much love, Paulie.
Orale.
Mike likes tacos. Kick Chris and Paulie.
Orale.
No, keep Paulie, says Epic Dude 78.
All right. We'll stay for a few more minutes.
Please, no, come on. You're not going anywhere. We have 736 people watching, although I think we lost a couple people when I gave you my review of episodes. I literally said that to a friend more than 20 years ago when I saw episode 1. I said it just felt like there was like all this cool stuff and all this terrible stuff. It was not a good combination. Patrick O'Connell for $19.99 says Obi-Wan was a guest in his own show. Completely agree. The entire series, I felt as if there was more about Vader, Leia, and Reva, which is maybe okay if the show isn't titled Obi-Wan. Really came across like Disney was just setting up more shows. I do believe we're not going to get a direct sequel per se to Obi-Wan. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get another show set in that era. It could be called Darth Vader, right? Douglas A. Burton for another $5. Thank you for that. If my elementary school lunch ladies made Star Wars, it would look a lot like Kenobi. There you go. And Bradford Gauthier for $1.99 says, no, maybe you forgot the comment. If you did, we will get to your comment if you forgot. It's happened to me. My very first super chat, I didn't understand that you have to put the text like right beneath the... I've made that mistake, Bradford. If you didn't mean to make that mistake, let me know. Makadama for another $5 says, also, I'll never forget how George Lucas never said anything to defend Star Wars fans when Disney called us racist, left us out to dry. Well, let me just for a second. Is it really his job? He could have said so much. George Lucas, here's the thing. He went to all the premieres of like the Disney stuff. I believe he even attended Solo. George Lucas did not attend the world premiere of The Rise of Skywalker. He did not attend. I don't know why. Read into it what you will. But Makadama, I don't think you have to say anything about that. I mean, these are the same fans. Let me just remind you. These are the same Star Wars fans that were begging, please put Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian in the sequels. People were upset that it's like, well, here you do The Force Awakens. Where's everybody? Luke is on an island, has no lines of dialogue whatsoever. That he was wasted in The Force Awakens. And then Lando Calrissian is, he's in it for a bit in The Rise of Skywalker. Arguably, probably the best bits are Lando. You didn't do much with him. But these are the same fans? How are they the same fans? The same fans who are like, where's Lando? Where's Lando? Where's Lando? And we get Lando. Did anyone, Paulie, refresh my memory?
Yeah.
When The Rise of Skywalker came out in 2019, and Shat, feel free to chime in on this as well. When it came out in 2019, did anyone complain about Lando Calrissian being in Star Wars? And even that, I thought he was like, if you're going to use him, that's, he's sort of leading the fleet, right? He brought the reinforcements and had a brief on this planet where they had an outdoor desert rave. Weird. No one complained. In fact, they were just happy about it. They're happy about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Star Wars has had a real great run with people of different backgrounds who are, different ethnic backgrounds that are great characters in Star Wars.
Billy D. Williams,
this is not a new
Samuel
thing.
Jackson.
I've done a video on it, and where it's like Black, Latino, Asian always have been there, whether they're small roles or bigger roles. It doesn't matter. I've always been there, and you just want, if you want whatever it is, just make sure the characters are great. We can disagree. I think the Reva character is a really good character, but that's just me. I'm not, and I'm not, I don't have a problem with her background.
I think if you were going to do an overall show where it was just like a Vader show and there was some intrigue, it could have been interesting. I think that her take on it was not great. I feel like she just could have been solved with a British accent and maybe dialing back the yelling all the time. I just feel like she was just too unhinged and angry, and I feel like she needed some quiet moments that could have been threatening. I don't know.
She had a lot of quiet moments towards the end.
200 Watt Studio for $2 says, please add fart sound when Kenobi moves his chair. Okay, we'll have that. We'll have it for Friday. All right. Flaccid Phoenix. If you can add a fart sound, that would be great. Ryan Landis for $2. Not my Star Wars chair.
That's funny.
And Mr. X for 1,000 CLP. I have no idea what that is. What do you think of the direction camera shakes? Exactly. Like that camera shaking, I recognize that. It's actually a plugin. It's like a plugin you can use when you're editing videos. It's cheap. It's cheap. KNTE for $4.99. I agree with Jeremy John's review. I haven't seen it yet, but he said Obi-Wan ends in the same spot as he starts at the end of the third movie. Among many other things, I think he's spot on too. Yeah, it's just like, so what did Obi-Wan learn something? Like, I feel like it was an opportunity. The whole thing with characters is they should change and grow. Well, he is no different from the end of episode 3 as this. What he should have been accountable for his behavior. The galaxy, he's accountable at least partially for the galaxy spiraling into this dictatorship. There should have been more of taking accountability for that, and maybe even coming up with the reasons why, maybe a conversation with Bail Organa. Luke Skywalker can never know who his real father is. Could you have said those lines? Luke Skywalker should never know who his real father is. And Anakin's like, and then that explains why Obi-Wan lies to him in episode 4. Well, right?
Listen,
Bail Organa, Luke can never know who's his lineage. And the dumb scene where he basically talks to Leia about her. Does Leia know she's adopted? That was just so much stuff was frustrating. 200 Watt Studio for $5 says, worst part of Force Awakens was after Han was killed. The ship gets back to base. Leia is waiting and she doesn't hug Chewie. She lets him walk past. That I agree. That was a huge mistake. This is why I'm saying, who's paying attention to this stuff? I don't know. It's frustrating. Paulie, I cut you off a few times.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We can definitely say when it comes to Star Wars, everyone is very passionate, and You know, one of my main notes is that this storytelling is already handicapped, and there's the big question: should this have ever been made? And my answer is no. Right? Even though I was entertained, you know, whatever. But should this? Absolutely not, because of the handicap, because our imagination will never be satisfied, whether it's Disney, I don't know who, what, it will never be satisfied. So, you know, so that's how I feel. But if I, you know, so then I shouldn't be I shouldn't watch this. It's like, no, I'm going to watch it. I'm just going to put that to the side. But
okay,
you know, everything you said, yeah, you're right, because they can't change any major characters. They can't. Right.
Well, see, okay, I hear what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is true of every film that's a prequel, right? You can't, you know, if a film is a prequel, you're already like, you know, where is the tension? There's no tension with Reva chasing Luke because we know he lives. We know Owen lives. We know Aunt Beru lives. We know everyone. We know the characters that are going to live. It would have been more interesting if Reva did die in some way, and maybe it was an act of self-sacrifice, right?
She should have passed. She should have never made it to Tatooine. She should have never known about Luke. Absolutely. That I did not like. Yeah, I liked the quiet moments though of when she, you know, when she gave Luke away, and then I like that moment between her and Ben. But no, I mean, story-wise, she shouldn't have been there. You know, because it's like Luke has seen a lightsaber. And he doesn't. The first time he sees a lightsaber is when Obi-Wan, Sir Alec Guinness, this is a lightsaber. What's a lightsaber? A lightsaber is this, a more elegant weapon.
He doesn't remember seeing it when he was a kid. It doesn't make sense. Bradford Gauthier for $1.99 says we missed it, but here's your super chat. The direction of the lightsaber battles is amateurish at best. I will agree, because I've seen fan films that were better. Those scenes could have been amazing if competently choreographed and directed. I felt that there was very little. Most of the way that the action, especially for the lightsaber battles, were just shot like it almost looked like a video game, like a fighting video game where you have two characters kind of just like from the side and you're kind of shooting it. Like there was no dynamism, or there wasn't a combination of shots that, like, there's so many like cutaways to things that are so cool. Like think back even to The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke would like reach his hand out and the lightsaber would go into his hand. Do you know how they would shoot that, Paulie, back in the day?
Tell me.
They would literally have Mark Hamill have a lightsaber, go like this and throw it, and then they would run the film backwards so he catches it. There's nothing sophisticated, no digital effect. It was an in-camera effect. Mark Hamill would throw the lightsaber and they would just run the film backwards. And it looks better. It looks better. So when you've got, I think this is a laziness on the part of directors today. Directors doing stuff. So much stuff can be fixed with digital effects. Like, we'll fix it in post. We'll do this digital. We'll do this. And it's a lack of imagination on the part of not just the storytellers and the screenwriters who aren't thinking as deeply about it, but the directors thinking like, well, here's a cheap way to do every effect. If you watch the original Star Wars, or at least the original trilogy, they used literally every single, special effects technique that was possible at that time. The land speeder, right? Luke's land speeder in Star Wars Episode 4. Do you know how they made it look like it was floating?
They made it like then they smudge.
No, they put it's first of all, it's basically just a go-kart that you can drive. They just put a mirror. And then they filmed it very fast, and because it was so fast, it blurred and it looks like it's floating. If you look, and you can look at it, the making ofs, they'll show like the land speeder and there's mirrors underneath. There was just a lack of creativity of how to achieve a lot of these special effects.
I can't argue that. I mean, their creativity from the imagination back then is so different now. As far as filmmakers, creative team, those departments, because you're relying too much on computers, and obviously you don't get this great product. Then you're also dealing with a shooting schedule, a finishing schedule, and a TV format for streaming. So you're absolutely right. There's there's really, you can't compare to, not just Star Wars now, but most things we see, to the creativity of the 70s, of the 80s,
look at
of a lot of our films.
Mm-hmm. You got some love here. Makadama says, great point, Paulie, great point. So there you go. But then Daniel follows up with Paulie digging out of that hole. Whatever. Red Pill News Rant says, Mahler writes a better Star Wars. He comes up with better ideas with every review. I've seen his stuff, and I love Mahler. Shout out to Mahler and his channel. He doesn't need my help. Doesn't he have like 1 million subscribers or something? It's crazy. But Mahler, when he goes through it in detail, he'll say, well, if not this, how about this? He'll suggest a better idea, right? I'm just questioning how they even got to this point. But thank you for that. Red Pill Rant. Hank VP says, Chris is unbreaded. That's a Nick Rekieta reference.
Nice.
I don't even want Nick Rekieta. Shout out to Nick Rekieta. I have something I want to do with Nick. Hopefully he'll go for it. Douglas A. Burton is back for $20. Gosh, Douglas.
Nice.
Incredibly generous today. Thank you. Qui-Gon is also misused. He's a powerful mentor archetype. In fact, he's the very catalyst for the whole Skywalker saga. His insight is critical. Upon returning to the story, the writers gave him zero substantive dialogue. Yeah, he's thrown in at the end because why? Because the internet wanted it. And he did not look, I saw it twice. I'm like, is that a deep fake of Qui-Gon? Because it just looked cheap. And I guess if he's like in the spirit realm. So he's the one that said, train the boy. Obi-Wan should have just looked at Qui-Gon like, Master, why did you have me train the boy? Look where we are. Look where the universe is. They could have had a conflict. He should have said, patience, Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. He is going to be the one to undo all this. Like some sort of payoff. There was nothing, even a thing like we talked about, having to lie to Luke about his father. Why wasn't that? There could have been a payoff to that. There could have been, you can never, ever, maybe Owen says, you cannot tell Luke who his father is. Never do that. If you do, there'll be hell to pay or something. Thank you, Douglas Burton, for that. Mm-hmm. Echo Base. Hey, Echo Base is here. Echo Base Network for $9.99. Thank you for that so much. Such a disappointing series. What a waste for Qui-Gon. This story should have enhanced what came before it and after it, but instead it just gives us more questions. Agreed. It should have enhanced things. It should have it should have said, oh, that's why this person did this. I mean, some of it doesn't have to be cheap. It could at least explain. But I think when you get to a prequel, you're kind of stuck because where's the tension? That Reva chasing down little Luke, she's gonna go and kill a little boy, I don't know. And yeah, I agree. Joe brings up a very good point here. Joe Leisure, Reva needed a mask or scars or something. I agree. I think that I don't know, something, maybe Reva gets an arm chopped off. She has a mechanical arm. Oh, you know what? You know what's always good? An eye patch. Eye patch is always good. Or a bionic eye. You can always do an eye patch.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. You go off and get an eye patch. You get a bionic arm, cyborg arm. Here we go. Matthew A. Cobo, it's coming. The Book of Reva. It's coming. Sam Forbes says Disney lost $500 million last year. $500 million, folks. They can barely afford IKEA chairs in 2022. The mouse needs a side hustle to help finance a proper show. Yeah, I don't know. Peyton Bang says even George knew that movie was unsalvageable. Talking about The Rise of Skywalker from earlier. And Zach says, people, we need to talk about this like button situation.
Where we at? Yeah.
Thank you for that. Michael Tynan for $20. Thank you for that, Chris. Just take my money. That is all. Well,
nice.
if you want stuff for free, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. There's a link. If you go to our link tree in the description, links to everything there. Goldstone for I always get the pounds at $1.
Was that a euro or a British pound?
We'll round it up to pounds. The euro looks different. Marsha Lucas was right that Kathleen Kennedy does not understand Star Wars. I agree. I agree with that. She doesn't understand Star Wars. Marsha Lucas could be involved in this in some way. I wish she would be. Rec Films Montana. I wonder if you're located in Montana. Been to Montana once, and I met Harrison Ford there. It was for the junket. It was for the junket for Cowboys and Aliens. Jon Favreau was there. Jon Favreau was also in talks to direct Episode 7. He was one of the directors.
Wow.
Met with and talked to. And when I interviewed Harrison Ford for Cowboys and Aliens, I had one last question at the end. And I had one last question, and I'm talking to Harrison Ford. And you get like 4 minutes when you do these film junkets. Fine. I was working for G4 TV at the time. And I said to Harrison Ford, you can probably find this interview online. I said to Harrison Ford, I said, Harrison, I love you. And then Harrison Ford goes on to say, well, I really appreciate that fans like what I do. And I said, no. You're supposed to say, I know. He goes, oh, let me do it again. Ask me again. I said, Harrison Ford, I love you. And he looked at me and he says, I know. I was on the floor. It was the greatest thing ever. Also, I think he was completely high during it, but that's all right. But Rec Films Montana for $5. That's right. Hope you're in Montana. To your point, I make films with volunteers and no visual effects. It forces you to solve problems creatively. I do think that, in some ways, money ends up being a crutch. George Lucas, for as much as he had a decent budget for 1977, I think it was 1976, $10 million to make Star Wars. And of course they went over budget, but he had to solve problems. He wanted to make things happen. He just used sort of crazy, simple, old school techniques. So let's keep going through these here. Let's see. Grand Wazoo 42 for €5 super sticker. Hey, yes, we have super stickers now. Thank you to Flaccid Phoenix for making our super stickers. Little super stickers. You might recognize some of those. Zio Reimer for $5. Fonts. I will show you fonts. Great show with great insight. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Zio Reimer. I'm going to recommend a documentary to you. It's a movie called Helvetica. It's literally an entire documentary about the font Helvetica, and it's a brilliant doc. I almost once went to a font convention. I am very fond of fonts. Say that 10 times fast. Epic Dude 78 says Stoned Solo, best solo. Could not agree more. Let's see. Reva has a bionic kidney from Vader's lightsaber, says the Geek and I. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I just felt that they needed to develop her character. What happened to her between there? They really don't explain much. Vader just doesn't kill her, and then somehow she's involved and doesn't realize she might hold a grudge for killing all those younglings. Yeah, Charlie Stevenson. Maybe did I skip to this one? None of the producers ask why. This is great. Abigor says, imagine the care in craft that a Tom Cruise production would bring a Star Wars film at this point. Yeah. When you look at certain filmmakers, right, like a Tom Cruise, and also, by the way, have you seen the trailer for that new Mission Impossible?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I've been rewatching all the Mission Impossibles the last couple of days also.
And this new Mission Impossible is 2 parts.
Yeah,
it has
Dead Reckoning part 1, right?
Part 1 and part 2. Dude, it looks, and Tom Cruise is just one of those guys, I think in some ways, I almost think Tom Cruise has like a death wish. Like he kind of just wants to off himself like on a film set. I just think that he's a guy that cares about fans. I don't know if when you saw Top Gun, did they have that little intro where Tom Cruise basically just thank you for coming to the movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, what a simple thing, and you look at like whoever's running that Star Wars account, the social media account on Twitter, is an incredibly immature person who is not being supervised. They should be fired for dividing fans. It should be a celebration of Star Wars and a celebration of a diversity of opinions. We appreciate your passion for Star Wars. If I was running the Star Wars account on Twitter, that's what it would be.
You're talking about the racism comments they were talking about?
Yeah, all that. And going after like fans that have like a small number of followers and you're the official Star Wars account, your brand is attack people like for having an opinion. That's not Star Wars. That's not America. That's not fandom. That's divisive and it's petty. It's childish. And the person running that account, I believe, should be, if they were working at my company, they'd be fired. Okay. Our Film Threat, if you go to our Film Threat social media account, we get snarky at times, but people attack us. That you're welcome to have your opinion. Didn't like this review. That's okay. Mad about that's fine. Our mission is to support independent filmmakers. We call out Hollywood. That's Film Threat's mission, right? If you look at the Film Threat Twitter feed, it's actually, I would even say that our Film Threat Twitter feed is kind of boring. It's like kind of boring because we don't stir stuff up. We don't. But yeah, if Tom Cruise, see, that's who they should be talking to. Star Wars, whatever you say about Star Wars, I'm sorry, Star Wars is very male. As much as there are female fans of Star Wars, the Millennium Falcon is a hot rod. Millennium Falcon is Han Solo's working on cars. Hand me the hydro spanner, wrench, whatever. I used to work on cars when I was a kid. My first car was a 1969 Chevelle SS that never ran, but I bought the parts, put it together, painted it, had flame stripes. It was way too much money, whatever. But then I got another car, it was a Mustang. And growing up in Michigan, buying bad cars like that, you definitely needed to know how to work on a car. So yeah, Patrick Lemire is back. Says Qui-Gon is confused how Reva lived from the same wound that killed him. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, not only did Han Solo get killed being stabbed by a lightsaber, Qui-Gon got stabbed by a lightsaber, and they died. And then in this series, apparently they don't die. It's stupid. It makes me think that you think I'm stupid.
Yeah, I want to go back to more Paul hate.
To what? What?
More Paulie hate, I guess.
What? No. Look, Turo says it's okay to be different, Paulie.
Okay.
6 says, Paulie, I love you. Look, you think that every positive comment, I don't see how Alan even does the show. He gets no. I love this is all I first of all, I love Alan. I tease him, and that's one of the best parts about working with. We both have a sense of humor, so we bust each other's balls a little bit. But Alan's a joy to work with, and we disagree on things, and that's the conversation. That's what makes this fun. And I'm not gonna I'm gonna maybe point out some things you didn't notice. Obviously, Paulie did not notice the chairs. Paulie didn't notice the chairs. I'm concerned. But look, Paulie, I love you. It's right up there on screen. Soak it in.
I love 6. I just wanted to address the
sure. No, go ahead.
No, because you're kind of like hitting a lot of stuff right now, and then you hit on the Star Wars Twitter and the racism, and Star Wars and their Twitter is reflective of Star Wars. They should never be commenting about that stuff. It's all about celebration and praise of what they're bringing out. Let the work speak for itself. and whether you like, this is what we're saying. This is what we're passionately arguing about. But that stuff, that should never be there. And I also want to say, and I've said it on my channel, that as much as I like Moses Ingram and her acting, she should never have gone on and been on Instagram. I don't think actors should be doing social media when they're having their roles out there. That ruins the mystery for me. That's why Al Pacino never gave interviews for decades. He didn't want people to know who he was. Same with De Niro. I mean, that was back in the day. So yeah, I think that's a huge, but it's just part of the times, unfortunately. But I really don't like that stuff.
I just don't understand a corporation and a beloved or formerly beloved brand going after their fans. It's inexcusable. If I were Bob Chapek, I would say, what the hell is going on? Fire that person. Bring someone in. We want to celebrate the love and your passion. And the fact that they can't make a Henry Cavill follow-up to Man of Steel with him as Superman is utterly ridiculous when he's been, devoid of problems, right? You had issues with Ray Fisher. You have ongoing issues with Ezra Miller. You've got just it's nonsense, right? Like, make a Superman movie with Henry Cavill.
Well, arguably, everyone really likes him and liked his take. They just have, people are very divisive on those Man of Steel movies. That's not the point. It's like, let him have another film. He's very popular. Yeah. He's
very popular in that role.
I love him.
It's $1 billion check waiting to be cashed. Patrick Lemire, Tom Cruise as Thawne. I love that idea. Wakizashi's Tea House says, I love Alan and Paulie and Chris. You are the boss. See? There you go. Shadow Fenrir 24 for $5. Chris, if you are ever in Pennsylvania, check out Mahoning Drive-In near me. I saw Indy Jones on 35 millimeter there. They play a lot of good classic and horror films. Yes, you probably know, I love drive-ins. My friend April Wright has a new documentary about drive-ins. We're going to talk to her about it, I think, in August. She made this documentary during the pandemic. The documentary is called Back to the Drive-In, and it's about how all these drive-ins thrived during the pandemic because people wanted to see movies. So she made this movie during the pandemic, all about drive-in theaters. That drive-in, Mahoning, may actually be in the documentary. So we got a lot of chats here, and so we've kind of turned the conversation here, and we'll have conversation in between. Here we go. Bill Ladome for $2. This was 1950s Lost in Space replaced with Star Wars. Yeah, it is. Tom Cruise versus the Predator. Andrew Eterno. Cosmic Comic says, when Vader dropped Obi-Wan into the hole in the ground, it would have been perfect trash for Vader to say, now I.
Dude, I was waiting for that line.
Why did that happen? Wait a second.
I'm like, no, they're not going to say it.
I have something here.
They're not going to say it. Because How would you guys have felt about that if they said that?
I got a lot of stuff back here.
Yeah.
I'll show you this. This is something I bought from the Star Wars fan club, I think back in the 90s. It's a Star Wars Darth Vader voice changer, which came from the Japanese live show, the George Lucas Super Live Adventure. Okay. Let's see if it still works.
You got to get closer to the mic. Get way closer to the mic. It works. Just.
Does that work?
It works. It's just low. It's just low, but it sounds cool. Yeah. That's badass.
I have a Darth Vader voice changer. I've had this for way too many years. But yeah, that's great. And then RMFX. And then you should have said biatch. Biatch. Seventh Cynic. Chris, you are a filmmaker, or would you say what would your Star Wars movie look like? Well, one, I would shoot it so that you actually had the same grain, the film grain from the film stock that was used to shoot Star Wars. Additionally, The original Star Wars in 1977.
Okay.
Additionally, I would include Star Wipes. Additionally, I would have an opening crawl. This show could have benefited from an opening crawl. And it would have to be, I had a friend the other day, suggest what the Obi-Wan Kenobi series should have been. And it should have been a bunch of Jedi that are being hunted by Vader. And they find out that Vader has a son. And Vader's son is on Tatooine. And these Jedi are like, we can't risk the universe, because of Anakin turned to the dark side. Well, this is going to run in the family. We have to kill Luke. So a bunch of Jedi, some of which maybe Obi-Wan knows, including Mace Windu, with a robot arm, show up on Tatooine challenging Obi-Wan Kenobi, who has to protect Luke from the Jedi coming to murder and assassinate Luke Skywalker because of the fears of these remaining Jedi, while they're also being chased by Vader, leading to a conflict with Vader, who finds Vader goes back, and maybe Vader visits his mother's grave on Tatooine. Vader finds Obi-Wan. They have a duel. And he just says to Obi-Wan, he basically wins the fight. Vader wins the fight, says, if you ever leave this planet, I'll kill you. And that's what the series would be. And then there'd also be some talk about, if we were going to do, say, an Obi-Wan series. If I was going to do another movie, I don't know what I would do. That's a big question to ask. Appreciate that comment, Seventh Cynic.
Yeah.
But if we were going to do Obi-Wan, that seems like it would be a more exciting show. And of course, Reva could be one of those characters. Reva could be one of those Jedi that is seeking out Luke and is just going to kill Luke. I don't know. Could have been more interesting. Toker88, Obi-Wan meeting Vader. What I'm going to try to say this. I don't think I can control the volume here. Is the gain here?
Well, someone's saying that it sounds like you had your.
Was
Nice.
Obi-Wan was that sounds terrible. Okay. Grandmaster Key Lime Pancake. Where did some of these names? I get the Seventh Cynic, but Grandmaster Key Lime Pancake. I love key lime pie. It's delicious. That proves it. Paulie is a Fed. He's a part of the Empire. Do not be seduced by Disney, Chris. I think this is all in good fun. I think they're teasing you. They're teasing you. Jorge Barracuda says, slap that like button like that chick from GOT slapped that stormtrooper. Tertiary Adjunct says, Owen and Farmer Wife versus Dark Side Force user holds their own. Yeah, I thought it was weird. There were just so many instances, cut them down. Cut them down. Oh, Kara has a great comment here. This show is not rewatchable. I would agree. You were going to say something, Paulie. Let's hear it.
No, it's all right. I was going to defend the moment, but listen, we'll keep going.
No. Okay. Well, this is
us being really nerdy about little shit, right?
All right.
So it's Reva was.
Look. Do I need to show the chair video again? Not to show that chair video again, Paulie, to convince you. Masters of the Nerddom, Star Wars can fix that chair issue when they remaster this show 30 years from now.
Por Dios.
Daniel says, I love how the most lasting impressions on Chris Gore are waiting room seats and a child's poor teeth. And I thought the actor who played Luke didn't look like Mark Hamill. I feel like they could have cast. He was fine. I thought both those kids were whatever, but just, I don't know. Yeah, and Vincent Battlebaugh also is kind of busting my balls a little bit. How many years old are those chairs? All right. And then Piers Bronson says serif or sans serif, Chris. I don't know. Okay. It depends on how it's used. I'm going to get serious about fonts for a minute.
Okay.
Sans serif for headlines. Okay. Like an impact font. Serif fonts for body copy because your eye follows the line at the bottom of the font. And I've read books about fonts, so let's not go too down that rabbit hole. Masters of the Nerddom, the gunner from Spaceballs was firing at that. I would agree. The Fairy Prince, I don't care about Obi-Wan using rocks. The way he did, it was very goofy looking. I would agree. You can see a still that's like behind us of the floating. It just looked like,
oh yeah, look at, there it is.
It just looked weird. Douglas A. Burton says, keep going, Paulie.
I had a good time watching it. I'm not going to, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I don't, say what you guys are just, say what you guys will. God bless. Let's keep the conversation moving. But I had a good time. That's just it.
All right. Fair enough. Patrick Lemire says the robot chicken version of Kenobi will be 100 times better. We'll see. We'll see. Way overpowered Jedi and Sith, says Ronan Blade. Yeah, this is like the kind of stuff that you would see in a video game, and then you see it in real life and you realize it looks kind of stupid and ridiculous. Zach says, Paulie, don't fall for that plunger nipple trick. He'll tell you it's for his personal use. Don't believe it.
What the?
And Hank VP says, "Oh, you haven't seen the video?" It's for my personal use. I think there you go. Hank VP says Paulie is greater than Alan. So there you go.
No.
Masters of the Nerddom, we just want more Alan nipple plunger videos. You're welcome.
No.
I can't do it again. Goldstone, more fan service to distract from the diabolical storytelling. Yeah, no, look, I think the story and the script were, it was just bad from the beginning. I don't see how you really come back from that, to me. So Andre Villa Franca says, I feel sorry for Star Wars fans. You guys need to consume better entertainment. First of all, Andre, I agree with you. I think Star Wars is just a franchise that I feel like it's almost like when a franchise has been around as long as Star Wars have, and it's existed along a certain trajectory, it's inevitably going to be shepherded by people who are lesser talented and don't pay attention to details. I think that this is just the normal trajectory for a franchise, i.e. Star Trek, Star Wars, name others, Terminator, right? If it's, it's been around this long, it's just inevitably not going to be great. And this is also partly why Film Threat exists, is to point you to other choices. And I would strongly recommend RRR. Paulie's working on the Natu Natu dance. Dude, when are you doing that?
Yes, I am. I showed it off again in front of my girlfriend and her friends the other night. They were impressed. But I'm like halfway. So the thing is that it takes stamina, and so with my other business, which is so physical, it's like, man, I'm out of dancing shape, but I'm having a good time. I love practicing that dance. So. I don't know. In a couple of weeks, I keep saying that, Chris.
Well, I want to see that video. Let's see. So on the Andre, we always try to offer alternatives. If you watch one of our live streams, you'll notice that it's like I'm throwing out movie recommendations all over the place. Look, I got a couple movies here I could recommend. What do I got sitting on my shelf here?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to recommend some films from the Latino Slant.
Yes, we got Belle, which is a great anime. It was in theaters recently. It's now on Blu-ray. And also, Sam and Maddie present Spring Break Zombie Massacre. Look that up. There's a documentary. It's about two kids with Down syndrome who want to make a zombie movie, and they make the movie. And so the documentary follows them making this movie. It's their dream. It's epic. There's like zombies and at prom, and it's crazy. And this is the movie that's in the doc, and just a couple that are sitting on my shelf.
Chris recommends.
Yeah, my little Chris recommends. So, and look, RRR Strikes Back, says Shanatsky. Another recommendation. X-Douchey McDouche X says Mad God is amazing. Mad God, which is Phil Tippett's animated movie that he spent 30 years making. Mad God is currently playing on Shudder. It's a movie that has no dialogue. It's one of the weirdest animated movies I've ever seen. The only thing I could compare it to, if you're familiar with two Polish animators called the Brothers Quay, it's very similar to that. It's just bizarre. It's not meant to make any sense, and I strongly recommend it. JD says, I hear Paulie, and I just think Goodfellas.
Hey, Paulie, how you doing, Paulie?
Hey,
How you doing?
Girthy Guitarist says Obi-Wan threw boulders at Vader, and they were breaking on his shoulders, but he was okay. But a lightsaber cracks his helmet, even though Luke didn't penetrate his suit in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. RAVF says Lucas needs to return. I would agree with that. But I would agree. I feel like there's a sense of, I felt that way. My first comment, we walked out of The Force Awakens. My first comment, it was, this movie could have used more George Lucas.
Yeah. I mean, I say it's not gonna happen just because he's just so old and maybe just doesn't, maybe he's just advising, like Favreau and them. But maybe back then we didn't know what we were getting, so we were just, excited that Force Awakens existed, and then we obviously know what we got afterwards, which was not good.
This is a good note here. Fourth 1000 says Qui-Gon should have appeared when Obi-Wan was trapped under the rubble in a flashback, so Onions can find strength to fight. Onions? Did you mean Obi-Wan? Probably Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan can find strength to fight. Although Onions is the new character in the Kenobi series. Come on, Onions, we got to get out of here. Come on, let's go, Onions. Onions, back to the ship.
I would have loved an Obi-Wan voice, a Qui-Gon voice there when he was trapped.
That was the place to do Qui-Gon, was to have Qui-Gon, voice where he could find the strength. Fourth 1000, you should be working at Lucasfilm. RMFX says that nipple sound reminds me of the old Duracell commercials. Oh, there you go. Tertiary Adjunct says Young Indiana Leia Adventures. Dempsey says reboot where Luke identifies as a woman.
Oh man.
JC, not going to go down that rabbit hole. JC says they should have hired actual fans who respect the source material. I don't understand why Lucasfilm, I can't even think of a company that really seems to dislike their fans more. They dislike, they like fans if they align with a certain political agenda. Those are the fans that they like. And the fans they don't like are everyone else or anyone that levels any criticism. It's you've got some thin-skinned person that's running that account, and it needs to be someone who is a professional. And I feel like there's a generation of people that have entered the workforce that don't know how to be professional, that care more about their feelings than their work, that don't know how to keep things in check, and are entitled brats. And to all of them, I say, fuck off. And I hope I have an opportunity to fire you someday.
And all I want to say is what Chris said.
Look, I'm just, you know what? Anything like that would never be tolerated for what we're trying to do with Film Threat. We have a real specific thing we're trying to do. So there you go. All Twisted Up says the fact that you even mention the Brothers Quay is awesome. From an animation person from way back, mad respect. Yes, I love the Brothers Quay. I'm trying to remember when I discovered them. I had their VHS tapes. I have their DVDs, but I have their VHS tapes from I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. I may have recorded it off of television when it played at some point, but I've been aware of their work. And Brothers Quay are these Polish animators who animate using real life items like screws and tools and meat. And it's the weirdest animation. And what I love about the Brothers Quay, All Twisted Up, is the fact that how they use sound and music. Brilliant stuff. If you're into anything goth, you love Brothers Quay. You'll love Brothers Quay. Patrick Lemire says, I think in 10 years, Disney remakes the original trilogy. I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't know that they'll do a direct remake. I think what they might do is they would remake the original trilogy, but it's from the point of view of the Empire. So the protagonist is Vader and the evil are the rebels. Maybe something like that. Bordeaux says, what is Film Threat trying to do? I've mentioned it many times, but we have I think it's important when you have you're trying to do something, you have a purpose. Our purpose is to give a middle finger to Hollywood when they deserve it. Not always the case, but to kind of like take down the sacred cows in Hollywood and point out a lot of the hypocrisy and BS, while simultaneously telling you about indie movies, because independent film is where my heart is. George Lucas is, by all accounts, the world's most successful independent filmmaker. Independent film is my personal passion. I make independent films. So my role is to highlight and tell you about indie movies you might not know about if you watched other channels. So we also interview independent filmmakers. So if you come on visit one of our Friday live casts, we're interviewing a couple of filmmakers. Let's see, who are we interviewing this Friday?
Aren't you interviewing Miguel Olmos?
Yes, we are. We are interviewing the director of Green Ghost and the Masters of the Stone. Yeah. That's Michael D. Olmos. That's Edward James Olmos' son. He directed a movie, Green Ghost and the Masters of the Stone. It's kind of a superhero movie. I'll explain when we talk about it. There's also a movie called Gatlop. We're going to be talking to the director and one of the lead actors. So we bring you these indie filmmakers. And why am I doing this? What is my purpose in doing this? I want to try to inspire other people to do that. I want to inspire other people to make their own independent films. And also, if you look back at the history of Film Threat, we've been doing this all along. It's no different. The mission is the same. And Daniel says Film Threat is also there to show off Chris's hair. It's
so
my
jealous
hair.
of his hair.
Well, there you go. It sticks up. It does what it. I've
don't have that hairline you do, sir. And I'm younger.
I've always got bedhead. Film Threat is making very tasty and delicious reviews. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. Here's what you're saying.
Holy fucking shit, these reviews are delicious.
See?
Nice. I like that.
There you go. All Twisted Up says, Gore, please review Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Is that out yet? Is it out?
No.
Oh, I'll review it. I'll find out when it's out. Thank you for the suggestion. How about we do that next Wednesday? If it's out, I'll review it. We'll talk about it because it'll be interesting from this standpoint. One, I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead. Love them. I love Mike Judge. Also, happen to love Mike Judge. He apparently just did the Joe Rogan podcast, which I'm dying to listen. Oh, really? I'm dying to listen to Mike Judge's interview on Joe Rogan.
I got to catch up.
Idiocracy is now. This is not an original comment.
It's now life.
It's a documentary, Idiocracy. This is the world we live in now. I recently watched Office Space. That movie holds up when they go to like basically what is it like Cha-Cha's or whatever, which is basically like TGI Fridays. And Jennifer Aniston, her character doesn't have enough flair on her suspenders, and she's getting reprimanded by her boss, played by Mike Judge. What a great, oh my God, Office Space. So good. All Twisted Up. We're doing Beavis and Butthead next week. Flaccid Phoenix, it's on the calendar for next Wednesday because we're done with Kenobi. We'll talk about it. Adrian Denton, which one thing made you groan the most in the Obi-Wan series? Well, how about just which episode that made me groan? I mean, a lot made me groan. Almost every episode made me groan in some form. God, I don't know. Just so much. Where do you start? You know, I think the first episode, Leia being chased and not being able to be caught and realizing she's supposed to be 10 years old. This is why none of this stuff is made by people who actually have children. That's why I have a theory. Paulie. They cast Leia younger because she's clearly an 8-year-old girl. And if she's 10, she's an underdeveloped 10. Okay. They cast a younger girl because young Leia is coming back. Young Leia is coming back in another show. Mark my words. Young Leia will return. Also, Clone 42 took the words out of my mouth. The ladder. There you go. On fourth 1000 says, I want
someone give me a ladder.
I want a Chris Gore hairpiece hat. Imagine a film threat army wearing these. Take my money. All right, that could work. Flaccid Phoenix says, want Chris's hair? Dry your hands off from public bathrooms with your hair. It works. Okay, this was a dumb thing at the. I think I would think I was doing a live stream, and I may have had too many Trulies, and I just said, like when you go, I can't stand those dryers. I think they're annoying. When you go into the restroom, you wash your hands. They have those blow dryers. What I do is I wash my hands. I just go like this in my hair, and my hands are dry.
I think of 2 films. Well, you have the hair for it, Chris. 2 films with hair with those blow dryers, right? Desperately Seeking Susan, where Madonna's drying off her arm because she's doing the wash,
right?
Which I loved, and Reservoir Dogs.
It's the way to do it, man. That's the cool way.
That Reservoir Dogs.
It's the cool way to dry your hands, and it kind of makes your hair look a little. It gives you a little zhuzh. I have no idea if that's a real
you
word.
just have great hair, Chris. Come on.
Oh, well, what can I say?
I try to do that, and it's like,
whatever. You've got a chin. I don't have a chin. You have an amazing jawline. I don't have a jawline. Why do you think my camera's like on my ceiling? All right. X Douchey McDouche X says, I'm buying Film Threat merch and supporting the cause. And also, so I appreciate that. Thank you, X Douchey McDouche X. Make sure to send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. Send that self-addressed stamped envelope. It'll be in the description, or where is it somewhere? I got it somewhere. It's down here. Here we go. There it is. Self-addressed stamped envelope. Send it our way. Send the more postage you send, the bigger the envelope, the more stuff I'll put into that envelope. We're going to be wrapping up here in about 10 minutes. I'm going to get to your final chats here. CD Stein 69 for $4.99. Thank you for joining us. Holy crap, is YouTube starting to do more shadow banning? Just got the notice you started live. Sorry I'm late. No big deal. No big deal, CD Stein 69. I don't know. We have a banner up and it's just like 1 p.m. Pacific time. So check your time zone, and that's when we're generally doing it. But thank you, CD Stein 69. We're gonna be here again. We're always 9 a.m. on Friday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
And Alan will be back.
Alan will be back, and Paulie will also be back another time. Thank you for that. Let's see. Yay! The Adventures of Reva and the Princess. It's coming. It's coming. I think these characters will come back. There'll be another story in this timeline with another young Leia. May not involve Obi-Wan, but something. Sweet Violence says, much respect to Paulie for having the chill to find joy where he can.
Ooh.
That's great. Yeah, dude. Look. I love the conversation. And you know what I do? I respect Paulie. And his opinion. It differs from mine. This is how adults talk to each other. This is what's happening between Paulie and I right now. The Star Wars official Twitter account cannot do this.
Right.
Which is have a respectful conversation and respectfully disagree. And by example, we are able to have this conversation. In light of that, Ratzel says I miss out.
Yeah.
Dempsey says a Film Threat on Elm Street shirt, please. Did we do a shirt like that?
Ooh.
We'll do that. A Film Threat on Elm Street. We'll do it. Daniel says I want my Alan time. These are just all fake accounts that Alan has. So, oh my God. Fourth 1000 says destroy the past. Milk it if you have to. Yeah, I hear you.
That's a big problem.
That's it just feels like it's one of those things. Like I was thinking about this today and I'm like, and I'm like, is it kind of like, are we just entitled and spoiled fans where there's just like so much of this that we're just sort of, I actually think it's actually genuinely could be 100 times better with minimal effort, basically hiring better people in certain positions. I think the culture at Lucasfilm sounds like, from my understanding, sounds like it's just not a place where anything really creative can thrive. Yeah, maybe it's just milk to death. Maybe it's just too much of it. Maybe like the kid version of myself, it's like, if I could just eat cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I'd have a stomach ache. Maybe we just all have stomach aches. Party Pucks. Aunt Beru is a boss. The Force is female. And there you go. Eric K is here. Hey, Eric. Film threat, the great Paulie Latino Slant. Yes, Paulie. Subscribe to Paulie's channel, Latino Slant. It's monetized. Your channel's
Oh,
monetized.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Masters of the nerddom, respect to Paulie for rolling with the punches here. It's all in good fun, though. See, even our audience here, which I appreciate. Let me say to the, nearly 600 people still watching here, thank you for, allowing us to have this conversation together. We're going to wrap it up. Look, oh wait, CD Stein 69 is back here for night 60s. I want to say this. CD Stein 69 for 1999 says, didn't see if you talked about it earlier, but am I the only one that thought they played Luke like a kid his age, but Leia had to be portrayed as a strong, better than any male young woman, far advanced beyond her age? Yes. And I feel like it's kind of a mistake to cast that young. I feel like Jake Lloyd was too young to play Anakin. I felt like the Anakin should have been played by a teenager, like probably 14, 15, right? Like in Jewish culture, you become, you have your bar mitzvah, when you become a man, you're 13 years old. I feel like Jake Lloyd was 9 or 10. He should have been 13 or 14. I think it would have been, because 13 or 14, kids don't, I feel like kids at a young age as Leia is in this, or Jake Lloyd was, or as Anakin in episode 1, they don't have a lot of big problems. They're little kids. When you start to have problems and question things in your development is as a teenager. When you begin to become a teenager and go through puberty and grow up and go from boyhood to manhood or womanhood or adulthood, however you want to put it, that is when you begin to think for yourself, a lot of things. I feel like they kind of, that was a big problem with Star Wars Episode 1, is I feel like Anakin should have been cast older. So, yeah.
Now, my thing here with this statement here, isn't that what these characters were in New Hope? He was kind of the naive, dreamer farm boy that we all loved, and Leia was this headstrong, get out of my way, walking carpet, kind of
she had
boss
a different upbringing
at that time. But at that time, George broke mold of the damsel in distress. That's why Leia was so great. I'm just pointing that out.
Turo says for $5, thank you for that, Turo. First time I've seen Paulie in a long time. Didn't hear him much though. A pause for the cause. All right, so what Turo is suggesting, I talk too much. I don't disagree. I'm always trying to just keep the conversation going. I know a lot of you, the way I watch live streams is I mostly just listen to them. I don't necessarily always watch, but there you go. And so yeah, Turo, thank you for that heads up. I probably should be a better host. Darius Munchausen for $5. Great chat today, gents. Always appreciate Paulie's honesty. Paulie, look, you and I, doesn't matter what, you and I can have very, very different opinions. We'll still be friends.
Yeah, friends. It's, absolutely. We're talking about entertainment. Whether it's a comic book, indie film, big franchises, small things. With the slant, I spotlight, the majority of my channel spotlights on Latino arts, culture, everything from books, art, writers, films, live musicians. We really bring something that I don't see anyone else bringing, and I'm very proud of the work I've done in the last 2 years on the slant. That's just it. I'm having a great time, and as long as you guys are doing that, I see I actually have quite a few members of my channel here, them kind of like that shared Darius, Eric O'Sullivan. So muchísimas gracias, everyone.
Well, look, Paulie, like I say, it doesn't matter to me, what I enjoy most, this conversation. Yeah. You made me look, there are things I will readily admit that I actually quite liked. The guy who played the Inquisitor, the actor who played the Inquisitor, I thought was fantastic.
So underused.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen in the last episode. I feel like the entire series should have began with that lightsaber duel, that lightsaber practice
that tone.
Duel. The tone, it would have set the tone for the series. It's about Obi-Wan. There is possibly, and there's a Rebel friend that might be listening. There is possibly a 2-hour movie. Maybe it's a 3-hour movie. Okay, 2 or 3 hour movie in here that could be actually decent, watchable movie.
I want to say that really quick because I rewatched episode 1 and 6 again with Romy when we were having lunch before the show, and I'm like, son of a gun. This because you didn't see Uncle Owen until the beginning and the end. My point is that I would love to see a 3-hour version of this, right? Where you pay attention to the adopted parents, the Grand Inquisitor, and you take Reva. As much as I have my feelings about that, I do think it was a distraction as far as in the storytelling. Take that story, you take that tale out, man. You got something there, but anyways.
Well,
theory.
Look, I think also sometimes with characters that are not working, the best thing to do is to give them less screen time, and then they pop. I mean, what is it like? Boba Fett had 4 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy. We're still talking about Boba Fett, 4 minutes. Reva arguably had as much screen time as Obi-Wan. This isn't her series. She should have been a side character, a villain, and it's okay to have she has an ulterior agenda. That would have been great. Cut her screen time in less than half, and you know what? She may actually work, but she doesn't work given the screen time. Wrap up with just these last few comments here. I want to get to these real quick. Hodgman, I just subscribed to Paulie's channel. Everyone should subscribe to Latino Slant. Great channel. Friday, let's have only Paulie and Alan. Matthew A. Cobo, I'm out.
No,
you can have my cartoon avatar. Yeah, just that's all you get. You get me as a little cartoon guy.
No.
Thank you, Matthew. Look, call me out. It's fine. I think one of the secrets to life is just having a good sense of humor about yourself. And there you go. Deano.
Nice.
For
there's no Enya there.
£4 there, says thanks for the show, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
we appreciate that. Fourth 1,000. Oh my God, this is awesome for $5. I want a John Waters inspired Jabba series a la Pink Flamingos. That would be awesome.
That's disturbing. That would be disturbing.
The filthiest gangster in the universe. That would have been great. And Pilgrim Media for $5 says, Chris, thank you for your years of experience and sharing of wisdom. That is my purpose. My purpose, Film Thread is like my day job that takes up about half my day. Then the other half of my day is taken up working on film projects. And one of them, I hope you'll have an opportunity to see at San Diego Comic-Con. More details on that coming. I can't really tell you much more than that, except that it's happening.
It's great.
It's going to be happening. So thank you for that. Paulie, where can people find you?
Yeah, Latino Slant. That's it. Tomorrow I'm going to be on with filmmaker Tom Conkle. We're going to talk about the series as a whole, and some people will think of it as a whole. And then tomorrow night we're going to do with Maria Tiatelli, we're going to have karaoke in Espanol. All karaoke songs we're going to sing in Spanish. I'm so excited. So me and Maria are singing tomorrow night. That I'm excited about that. So, we have fun. This was a challenge for me, but I had fun talking to you, Chris.
Well, look, I appreciate it. And I appreciate, look, you got a lot of love in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
And look, if you're going to be online, people are opinionated and I'll, it comes with the territory. So I want to say thank you to Flaccid Phoenix, our producer, moderator. Subscribe to his channel, Flaccid Phoenix.
Yeah, he's blowing up.
Make sure you do that. He is blowing up. He's closing in on 2K subs. Just got monetized. Congrats to Flaccid Phoenix. great channel. Check out his RRR review, and he's done other multiple videos of other Indian films. So check it out. We'll be back. We'll be back on Friday with filmmaker interviews. We're going to be talking about Elvis, talking about the Black Phone, lot of fun stuff on Friday. I'm seeing Marcel the Shell tonight, so we'll do a review of that. So we've got like 3 solid film reviews, 2 filmmaker interviews, probably some more conversation, and next Wednesday another Hollywood on the Rocks. It's gonna be a blast, and we're Film Thread on everything. I am that Chris Gore on everything. And a final word, as I'll just say, and this is, can I explain this one thing? We always say at the end of the show, let's get out of here.
Okay.
And the reason that I say it is the most used line of dialogue in a screenplay. You can look up, I used to do this show called Pod Crash. At the very end, we just take a quote from a movie. I did over 100 episodes of this show, and I kind of just, I did 100. I was like, I hit the milestone of 100. I'm done. At the end of the show, we took a quote from any random movie, and it was just someone saying, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. That line is in all your favorite film franchises. And if you just Google or look up on YouTube, let's get out of here, it's a thing that people, you can find like montages of people saying that. So let's get out of here. It's the most cliche written line of dialogue in a movie script. And do you know what the one is for television?
No.